Okay, so the first time I met this guy was actually in Frankfurt. I think your parents were there as well. I think so. Yeah. This is Dominic Reitmeyer, Mr. Black, and first of all, I would like to speak some German, but English is fine, right?
Yeah, English is better than German actually.
You think it's better?
Yeah. I actually forgot quite a lot of German since I was in China for a long time. I only spoke English and Chinese. Got some gaps. I mean, I can still speak it, but I got some gaps.
So speaking about that, I mean, you have been going all in for the esports, no doubt. Can you tell us a little bit about your last 2 or 3 years in a fast way?
Okay. So what happened is I finished my school, got like a degree. Then I told my parents because they wouldn't let me leave before I would go to China at that time. Then I went to China for a year, played for Team LGD Ind, which was like full of international people, as the name implies. And then I went to Team CIS, which was a rookie Chinese team. Then we went to TI, we did pretty poorly, blah, blah, blah. Not important. And then after that, in the reshuffle, I got drafted to VG. Then we actually did pretty well. And then in February, I think, they decided to switch me for Hao. Well, he's like, pretty much a legend at this point. He won like a TI. He's considered the best carry in the world by many. So it was a pretty easy choice at that time for them, I guess. And then after that, I moved to Canada to join Team Mouse. For about 5 months, we failed to qualify for TI. Got third place in the qualifier. And then I moved to Korea for a month, which I'm doing to coach MVP, Hot 6, which I'm still doing right now. And that's it.
That's kind of fancy, at least. So this coaching thing you're doing now, it's like a job, or is it like? Tell us a little bit more about that.
So how it happened was, as I said, I didn't qualify for TI with Mouse. And then there are like 2 months where nothing's really happening, right? And no tournaments, no nothing. And I decided I would go to TI as observer, like either way. So then a friend of mine brought the idea up, maybe I should coach a team because then I could stay in the scene, stay sharp with like strategies and everything, and reflect like my own game. Because I have like 2 months time coaching others, I can reflect their mistakes on mine maybe, stuff like that. And then I thought about it. I spoke to MVP because they're all my friends as well, and we just spoke, and they said, "Yeah, sure, we'd like your help," and then that's how it happened.
So if we go back to speak about your game, you and me were teammates at one point. How do you think your game has developed since then?
Well, back then it was quite a while ago, some years, and since then I definitely matured a lot as a player. Back then I was like a big brat.
No, were you?
Yeah, I was.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding with you. Like so, but after that, what do you think has become your strengths and weaknesses right now?
As a person or as a player? Or both?
Let's do both.
Well, as a person, at that time I was a pretty, as I said, spoiled kid. So I was always getting like angry easily. I would annoy like my teammates and everything because of that. And then at one point I was wondering, why am I actually doing that? And then I stopped it because it's pretty pointless. And since then I actually became more of like a, how do you say, a motivational kind of guy. Like when the team is down, I'm actually want to pick them up now instead of bringing them further down. That's like definitely one of my strengths as a player as well. Then before I joined VG, I was like a pretty good carry and mid player, but only in like certain aspects. And then when I joined VG, their coach, QQQ is his name, or 357, whatever you call him by, he actually taught me like so much. My game got a lot better since VG simply because of him, because I was obviously like a big problem in the team from the start, not because of the communication only, but also because of the gameplay. So he literally just like sat behind me for a couple of weeks. We went through like every replay, every mistake, and was kind of like harsh at first, to realize you're actually pretty bad. But then, after that, I actually improved a lot, and I was happy with myself. I'm really thankful to him.
I mean, a lot of people say that you're one of the best carriers in the world, especially when it comes down to last hitting and really getting the most farm out of your hero. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, that's probably what I'm best at.
So if we go back to the game, what's your weakness then? I mean, if you farm good and everything, what do you think is your weakness, or were your weakness before the mouse sports or during the mouse sports time?
Um, I thought during VG at first, and before that as well, my biggest weakness has always been my decision making on when and when not to join fights, because that's actually the most important as a carry. But I think ever since VG, I got drafted like a lot of different heroes too, like Centaur, Invoker, Brewmaster. So simply that I could practice when to join fights and when not to join fights. I think ever since then I actually improved greatly on that. But if I have to like point out a weakness, it's like probably still that. Like it's gotten a lot better, but it's still not like perfect or top notch.
Will it ever be though? You can never know. So I want to talk about your body. Do you mind?
Sure.
No, but you must have lost a lot of weight since we last met, and you look like you're feeling good and you're healthy. Am I right?
No. I think when we were in one team, I was actually like 150-ish kilos.
That's nothing.
No, it's nothing. It's just like 3 people-ish. But there's like a story behind that as well. I was always like a pretty active person, always like jumping around a lot, doing a lot of sports. And my parents and we always wondered why I actually got so fat. Because I was never only sitting at the PC and being like a lazy guy. So then after that, shortly, we went to a doctor. When we were in Singapore, and then after, went to a doctor to figure out what's going on. And he said, I have like a thyroid disease, which makes everything I eat affect me much more than it should. And then we were like, yeah, that makes sense. And then I got some medicine for it. And then I just started doing a ton of sport, mainly like running, and I lost all that weight.
So you're not doing what Kebab does, the apple diet, as he was talking about at one point.
I mean, I actually think his apple diet always included like a tiramisu for dinner or something. that was quite good.
Now, what I was going for is that it seems you're actually feeling better, also like mentally, and maybe that's a part of the body. Do you believe in those kind of connections?
What I actually believe is, no matter how much you do, as like fitness or just running or in the gym or whatever, mental balance is like really important. And for office jobs, which like Dota kind of is, because you're just sitting there for 8 hours or more longer, just playing games. I think it's really important to get like active with your body, do some sports, do whatever, just so your mind can actually relax. You can focus much easier. It's much easier to just like, do your job.
Do your job. So if you would divide Dota 2 player knowledge or whatever, how good you are into mental training, physical training, and actual training, how would the percentages look like?
I personally try to go like at least an hour every day to do some sort of fitness, whatever it is, like running, light lifting or whatever. Then at least 8 hours of Dota practice. And then the rest pretty much just goes to food, showering, eating, and all the free time that I have after that I usually spend on like watching replays or other people play or whatever.
So what about the private life? Do you have any woman, perhaps?
Not really. Has never really been like a priority of mine. I mean, I always felt like if the time is right, it will just happen. So I guess I'll just wait a bit longer. I don't know.
So what about friends outside of the Dota 2 community? Is there time for that?
I mean, as I said, when there's like free time, I usually just like watch replays or whatever. But during that time, sometimes I obviously go out with friends too. Instead of watching those replays, it's just like, oh, I don't really have anything to do right now. I'll just watch some replays, I guess. But if I have like an appointment with a friend or want to do something with a friend, then that goes there instead.
Sounds awesome. I mean, I'm really happy to meet you here. But the question which remains is, how will we see you furthermore in the scene? Are you going to play? Are you going to be a coach? Or are you just going to go around and look beautiful?
I mean, I'm definitely gonna go around and look beautiful. Hopefully, as a player, though. I mean, as I said, being a coach for 2 months, it's obviously not what I wanted, but it helped me out a great deal, I think, because, as I said before, I could reflect a lot of the mistakes that I actually saw in myself. I had a lot of time to think about myself, what my future plans would be. But like just being here, as like a former player not too long ago, I'm just really like itching to play, you know. It's kind of annoying to just sit here, watch other people play. You're kind of like, I want to play too. So after this event, I'm definitely looking to be a pro player again. But I can't really say yet where or when, because there's going to be this like TI shuffle like every year. But the time window is actually pretty tight, because the 1st September there's like this trading deadline of players. So something will have to happen like soon after this event.
It's like you read my questions in my mind. What do you think about this 1st September rule that Valve has implied?
I actually think it's what Dota needs, but I'm not sure if players are ready for it. Because right now, what professional Dota lacks, even though it sounds kind of like ironic, is professionalism. There's so many players who just act out of their emotions and ruin like a really, really good team, like needlessly. It's always like, I don't like you. What do? I guess I just kick you and get a new guy in. With the new rules, like you can't do that anymore, which might ruin a lot of teams in another way, because when you are like that, like you lack professionalism, you don't really know how to deal with it, because now suddenly you can't kick him anymore. What do you do? And that might be like too much for some people to handle. We'll see how they handle it, but it's definitely what Dota needs, and hopefully the scene as a whole grows up because of it.
The scene grows up. This is Kim and Mr. Reitmeyer here, and we thank you all. Tack så mycket för att ni har tittat i alla fall, och ni hör att Black i alla fall, han kommer att komma tillbaks till scenen. See if do you know any Swedish words?
Svenska shoppa huset.
Thank you. Thank you.